All right, Brew and Feed here. I am here today to make some jerk honey habanero chicken. So this jerk honey habanero chicken is a blend of our jerk seasoning blend and a honey habanero rub. What we're gonna make with this is red beans and rice. So we're gonna be using our red beans and rice seasoning. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're going to get our pot ready. And essentially what we're going to do here is we're just going to take some dark red kidney beans. I like to use salt-free kidney beans because I don't use a lot of salt and stuff, plus you can always add salt to taste. So we're just going to dump these right in the pot. I dumped the sauce and the juice that it's in and everything. That juice is actually, as it boils down, it's going to thicken. And that's going to be good for our red beans and rice. So we're just going to dump that in there. I'm going to dump that in there with because we'll use 2 cans, I'm going to do 4 tablespoons of red beans and rice seasonings. Normally what I do is 1 can of red beans and rice is 2 tablespoons of red beans and rice seasoning. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 4 tablespoons of red beans and rice seasoning for our red beans and rice. We're gonna get that all stirred in there. And then we're gonna bring that up to temp until it boils, and then we're gonna let it simmer until it thickens. And then while that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and season our jerk chicken. For the jerk chicken, what I do is I do a wet marinade type thing first. And once I'm done with that wet marinade, the next thing I do before I cook it, I actually put some of the dry seasoning on there. So to make a wet marinade, what we do is we take olive oil and we take our seasoning and we mix it together, and then we toss our chicken in the olive oil seasoning blend. And that's going to get us a nice marinade to marinate the chicken in for like an hour or 2. And then once that's marinated and it's all soaked in, we're going to season it again with just the dry seasoning. And that's going to get us that kind of jerk chicken, like a dry rub kind of chicken. So that's it. Let me go ahead and hook this up. What I like to do is 1/4 tablespoon of olive oil for 1 tablespoon of seasoning. And since we're going to be doing a double batch. So I'm going to be doing 9 legs for this. So I'm going to do basically 1/2 cup of this with 2 tablespoons of seasoning. Oh, there's a lot of seasoning going on here. That honey habanero is spicy. So if you ever buy just the honey habanero rub, it's spicy, let alone add it with the jerk chicken. So this is going to be a spicy chicken. And you don't need a lot of seasoning in the marinade because you're going to be seasoning it again with just the dry rub later on. And so you don't need to go overboard with the seasoning on the wet rub. And our beans are starting to boil already. These induction cooktops are extremely efficient. They start cooking fast. So I highly recommend getting an induction cooktop if you don't have one. You got to get the right pans to go with an induction cooktop. So we'll get our marinade going. Actually, that's not as thick as I wanted it, so I'm going to add a couple more tablespoons in there. I like my wet seasoning to be a little thick so that it sticks to the chicken. So we're going to add a couple more tablespoons in there. Get that stirred up. Okay, so that's a little bit thicker. Still not as thick as I wanted it. Huh. All right, so we're going to go with a couple more tablespoons. Okay, our seasoning is starting to thicken up now. as you roll it around, it's not as fluid as it was before. And so that gives us a nice thick seasoning. So now I'm gonna just take the chicken and put it in the seasoning. The way I do it is I just put the seasoning, the chicken in the marinade, and then I just shake it up until everything's covered, and then I put it in the refrigerator. Okay, our chicken's nice and covered. Remember, we're going to be seasoning this more once we get the chicken nice and marinated. Our beans are getting nice and thick. That's good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this in the fridge. Okay, now that we got that going, let's do our rice. So I like to use steamed rice. I like the texture of steamed rice. This particular rice is a basmati rice. It's a white, basically long grain rice. This is what we use for everything. So this calls for 2 cups of rice. So I got 2 cups of rice to 2.5 cups of water. Just pour that in there. And the bottom of this is filled with water there's a little marker in there that tells you where to fill it up to. And then they're saying 39 to 42 minutes for white rice, so I'm gonna do 40. I'll just do 45 minutes. So that's gonna take 45 minutes to cook. The rice will be done. We're gonna cook our red beans and rice, let that continue to cook until it's thick. And then I'm gonna go find something else to do for a little bit while this is all getting ready. And I will be back. See you in a minute. All right, I'm here in the backyard with the Yoda pellet smoker. This is a 640 YS. I believe it's a YS. This is in my backyard, but this is actually the smoker that we use for brewing feed when we do our pop-up cooks. So I'm gonna be refilling this with some pellets right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get our chicken seasoned up a little bit more. Then we're gonna throw it on here. I got this at 350. I don't wanna go too hot. I like my chicken to soak in a little bit of smoke. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these in at 350. When it gets a little closer to when they're done, I'm gonna turn it up so I get that chicken, the skin nice and crispy. But that's it. So let's go ahead and get the chicken and get it ready. Our chicken is done, internal temperature. It looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the grill. We're gonna plate this honey habanero jerk chicken and see what we're working with. All of the food is done. We got our honey habanero jerk chicken. We got our red beans and rice, and we're gonna plate this. All right, so let's start with the rice. Let's go ahead and get that on there. Kind of break it up with a fork. That kind of loosens it up a bit, makes it easier to work with. Getting it onto the plate. So we'll get some rice. I'm gonna put the rice dead center on this plate. Then we'll, see my red beans and rice, I like it thick. So what I did was I took a potato smasher that's used for making mashed potatoes, and I smashed the beans. You don't want to smash all of them. You still want some of them whole, probably 3/4 of them whole. Just, if you smash about 1/4 of the beans, that's gonna make it thicken up a lot more, which I like in my red beans and rice. So I'll just kind of pour some of this right in the center. A little extra there. So now we got our red beans and rice. We'll nestle some chicken right up against the red beans and rice. Give ourselves a nice little thing here. And one of my tricks, when you're plating something to make it look nicer, especially if you're going to be feeding it to somebody, or if you're going to be taking pictures of it, get some parsley flakes. Relatively neutral flavor. You're not going to put a lot on there. Just sprinkle it on there just to give it a little bit of color, especially when you don't have a red or green vegetable with a dish. It kind of brightens it up a little bit. I let a few drops fall off on the plate. I like to use white plates when I'm just eating, also when I'm taking food pics. And the parsley flakes just give it a nice little touch of color without adding any extra flavor. So that's a trick. People serve Jamaican food with Jamaican beans and rice with lime slices. So I got a couple to put on there just to give it a little color. You can sprinkle this on the rice or whatever. And that's it. There's our Honey Habanero Jerk Chicken with our red beans and rice. Both of these are using our seasoning, so check us out, brewandfeed.com. And I'm going to give this a taste test and let you know what I think. So that chicken is a sweet heat, so it's honey-like sweetness, Jamaican jerk aromatics. It is spicy, so be aware. Oh, it's very good. I'm gonna need something to drink with that, and I got just the thing. I'm gonna make a mango coconut smoothie real quick here in a few minutes, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so I told you I was gonna show you how to make a mango coconut smoothie. If you're eating something spicy hot like that jerk chicken is, and eating some red beans and rice, which is also a little spicy, you can wash it down with a mango smoothie. So the way I make my smoothies is I put a little bit of ice in here. Maybe a little bit more, because this coconut milk that I have is it's like a creamer for putting in lattes and stuff. I didn't have regular oat milk. So it might be a little bit thicker, so a little bit of extra ice. Put some milk in here, some oat milk. You can use any kind of milk that you want. Oat. Oops, I just dropped my dropped my mango. I got some coconut milk. I have frozen mango. So frozen mango is good because it comes in these little pouches. If you don't use it all, you can put it in a freezer bag. And I think there was like 8 to 10 pouches in there. So I can make smoothies all week for a couple weeks with these. Throw these in here. You don't want to go past your fill line. Where's my fill line? Oh, there it is, max. Okay, so we got put a little bit of clover honey in here. This is actually Brew and Feed clover honey. We sell this on our website too. I'll put 2 teaspoons of honey. I don't like my stuff too sweet. The mango is going to give a little bit of sweetness, so you don't need that much. Or at least I don't really have a sweet tooth, so, but if you do, go crazy with it. We're close to our fill line now with that. And the last thing I like to put in my smoothie, at least in this particular smoothie, a little bit of cardamom powder. Just a little bit. to give it some aromatics to kind of go with the jerk chicken. I do this when I make Indian food too. If I'm making some spicy Indian food, I'll make me a nice spicy coconut milk smoothie. So we'll go ahead and cover that up. I think we got everything in there now. Give it a little shake, make sure everything's mixed up in there. And then we'll mix it up. The thing, the honey is a little thick on the sides there. Let's see. And there we have it. Oh, I need a cup. There's my mug. You'll need a straw too. We got these great big smoothie straws. You can get these online. Just go on Amazon and look up smoothie straws. They're thicker than a regular straw, so that way you make a nice thick smoothie. You can still drink it through the straw. And we'll push our smoothie into there. And there you have it. A nice smoothie that can wash down that sweet heat from those honey habanero jerk wings. And that's it. All right, brew strong and feed well.